There we go. So that may be an older one. Let me email you. All right, so that's on its way. Oh, that's what a quiet invitation is. Yep. One via email and then a new one via whatever tool G Plus makes.
All right.
There, I hear you. The cool thing about Hangouts is when you're talking, you show up as the primary. You probably saw that the other day.
I did, and it automatically, it automatically rotates them based on who's talking.
That is pretty cool. All right, and then we've got to mute it on this side because we don't need people coming in the middle of our. All right, so now you can hear me through the Hangout, but I can't hear you.
Exactly. Oh, and at least the presentation isn't reversed.
How do you mean?
So when you pointed that camera back to the monitor, it wasn't backwards.
Oh, like for you, yeah.
Logo wasn't reversed. Or when I'm looking at it right here, it looks straight.
So this is still not exactly what we need because when you, unless you're a guest, so we need some other way for people to connect where they're not a guest. Because if we had like 20 other people connected, we don't want when they talk for them to show up because we're not going to listen to them anyway.
Well, so I know that Dean, I had to unmute myself. But I don't think he controlled if I was using I don't know if he had that level of control. I'm pretty sure there's probably some sort of setting in there where we can just control
who's the actual presenter.
Exactly.
Because that's all that's all we need is I'm a presenter. You're not a presenter.
Exactly. And so I was almost tempted to tweak that.
Yeah.
I'll figure what's the worst could happen.
Yeah, trying something new, Google Hangout or YouTube Live or whatever they call it.
What are you testing?
I'm just trying to get the. It looked like a little blurry, a little out of focus.
Oh, okay. It looked funny. I will say this though. Well, I ain't gonna say that yet. We'll do it after we test. But I was gonna say, I think I like the clarity
On Google.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now the interesting question is, and we'll have to try it, is that a hardware issue potentially?
possibly.
I mean, you got a Surface Pro 3 versus
E-machine. So,
an old ass E-machine.
So I don't know if you can see if you look. You see on my laptop, you know?
Yeah.
It's
crystal clear.
yeah,
It's HD.
and big and nice and
Yeah, we're gonna have to switch.
I heard you stream. It's been fun. You serve a purpose.
Nah, 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 nah. So yeah, then we just run USB into there, that camera into there. Although that camera's, this one I think is, we'll see how it interacts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a benefit to having it higher, right?
Yeah.
We're not looking up.
And not perching my Surface Pro on something.
Exactly.
They got a lot of responses. But they didn't.
About
Yeah, that's it, because it just goes to everybody in my list. And I'm like, whatever. Probably just get people irritated with me.
real quick, and we're gonna see what that tweet you got just sent out.
Yeah, see, this is the event. Let me see if I can. Yeah, they went up to like 230 people.
Ironically, all the YouTube how-to videos we're talking about Google's new algorithm is targeting how-to stuff. Oh, wow. You saw that? I was wondering, like, what was going on?
That he's talking about.
And then it changed. So
Yeah.
I need to go and probably turn that mic off.
Well, we'll be talking the whole time. Oh, that would work. If you just mute that mic, then there's no way it would come on.
Now I just gotta figure out where I do that at.
Oh, if you hover over the top middle.
Oh, okay, I see. I got it.
All right, sound check.
Balance check. 1, 2, balance check.
Balance check. 1, 2, 1, 2. No half stepping. SEO podcast 277. Time to get it started. Just Chris and Charlie here to talk about content. Come party. All right, here we go. SEO podcast freestyle. Let's get it.
277.
Fine. Okay, need a selfie stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
Need a
do
selfie
exactly.
stick. Here we go. Trying to get there's something in there. Here we go.
We should just change that. Just change it, right?
And just see. Mm-hmm. Yep, we should. Yeah. Branding is
Slightly daunting.
yes.
I'm just hoping we have one more change on Facebook, right? Because you can only make 2 changes for your
Name.
name. And I think we have one more. I don't think I did one and then we did it again because we could have done dash and then pulled it out. And if we did that, then we got to change Facebook accounts.
My check.
Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebstyle.
I am Charles Lewis, your internet marketing specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. This is podcast number 277. And as always, we have a tip from our previous podcast, and that tip is use PPC research when optimizing your, I don't know why that seems so difficult to say. Use PPC research when optimizing your website.
I was like looking for another word. Like,
Where's the confusing word that he's stuck on?
Exactly. But look, PPC research is one of the easiest ways to kind of research your keywords that you plan on optimizing for. That way you can put a little budget on it, figure out how they convert, figure out which words are bringing in the most traffic. More importantly, you can even test meta descriptions and things like that by creating ads and see which one of those converts. And if you're high converting ads, your high converting keywords, that's what you optimize with, and those are the same information you use in your meta description. Use PPC for research for SEO, it really works.
Valuable tool. Remember, we're broadcasting live from Houston, and we are your friendly neighborhood top position snatchers, where our mantra is
Don't be a douche.
do not be a douche. So we have some good article today that
we got a great article, man. Punch in the face to Michael, I'm gonna say Giorgio, over at Search Engine Journal, 7 things content creators do to create share-worthy content. So we're still on our whole content focus, what we've been on for the past few podcasts.
Yep.
7 things. So we'll get into these 7 things in a pretty good article.
Excellent. If you are in a position to, if you have the equipment, and we know you do,
I know you do.
now is the time to tweet, and you should tweet.
You should tweet us, hashtag SEO podcast. Be sure to tag us in the at Best SEO Podcast at eWebstyle. That way we can follow you back and do all of our social network stuff.
Yep. So we're going to skip our section today.
Yeah,
so we got 10 new Twitter followers. So what this is we have a little segment about how you could leave us a review. We cut that segment out if we get 10 or more increases in our followers or whatever you want to call them for Twitter. And actually, I'm going to start keeping track of the other Twitter one. Did you see what our Best SEO Podcast Twitter count is at?
Wow.
1,600 people following us on the Best SEO Podcast, our Twitter account. And we've got 819 on our main one. It's kind of not really our main one, right?
I know.
And that was an increase of 10.
Ironically.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to skip that section. We will remind you that there are lots of ways you can haunt us, stalk us, harass us, and we actually like that. So please do.
Haunt us, harass us.
They start with facebook.com/
eWebstyle,
youtube.com/
eWebstyle,
twitter.com/
eWebstyle,
instagram.com/
eWebstyle. You know what's interesting? I was practicing this last weekend.
Yeah.
eWeb results doesn't really fit there.
Wow.
Man, I don't know. We're going. Yeah.
Maybe just yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't. eWeb. I was like,
Twitter.com/ eWeb results. And I think you just got to we're just going to hammer results. It's going to be like a nail and the hammer is going in every time. That's the only thing because nothing else matters.
Exactly.
All right. If you are PHP genius or WordPress guru, we're probably looking for you. Go ahead and submit an audio resume, 713-510-7846. we do have a free website analysis. If you go to our website, what's our website?
ewebstyle.com.
For now.
For now.
Yeah. And you go there, you will find a website analysis form. If you are in a hurry.
Always, because they'll be redundant.
Yeah, that's true. We're not gonna. It's not gonna disappear. edaswebstyle.com not found. Will not happen unless there's a mistake. Let us know if that happens. And we got Algo Cat. I think you told me that. So now for the segment of the podcast, the algorithm cataclysm.
So we missed out the sound effect on the Hangout. our visual effect. So we got two pieces.
Oh, by the way, we are doing a Google Hangout right now. So this is being broadcast live. What we pushed up, we're gonna have to figure out how we get it into the right YouTube account and all
of that kind of stuff. And anybody who happens to be watching live right now who follows us on Twitter, which is probably like one of you guys maybe.
Yeah.
I just tweeted out our Hangout link. So click that and then hit me with some feedback. Let me know.
Our initial impression is that the video quality is significantly better. Maybe the audio quality is probably decreased
because it's
not going through the mixer. It's going through the Surface Pro mic, which is probably still pretty good.
Exactly. So in today's Algo Cat, man, let's start with Bing, right?
Yeah.
So Bing is continuing down the path of mobile search, and they're rolling out its own mobile-friendly algorithm. Now, they did release some criteria on what they determined to be mobile-friendly.
Right.
They said as long as the site has a great navigation on a mobile device, that the readability is there, the scrolling capability is functional, and it's compatible with most devices, which is similar to what Google is offering. The difference,
right?
The big difference here is Bing made it plain. They made it a purpose to mention that sites that aren't mobile friendly will still rank if they feel like the content is good enough.
It's worthy.
And so, whereas Google is saying, look, if this site's not mobile friendly, we're not going to show it. Period.
Right.
And so, I think that's a huge difference.
Yes.
So
especially with larger smartphones. I mean, we've always made the argument that they're usually good enough to show the full-size website.
You switch it to landscape and then
zoom it, double tap, and it zooms into the main column.
Content area.
Yeah,
exactly. And then my second algorithm cat, man, is Google Phantom. New algorithm update, new name. And it's not, I won't say new because Google hasn't published anything about this.
Right.
I got this information from NBC actually related to this, and they had a team of researchers following sites and doing some updates. So Google's rolling out a new update called Phantom, and it's targeting how-to content. So all of these sites that are filled with how-to articles and how to do this and how to do that. But most of those sites, unfortunately, have thin, non-relevant content.
Yeah.
You start thinking about all those how-to wikis and e-wikis and this and that really don't have any value. They used to just build links.
Right.
So hopefully creating those kind of thin articles and posting them in those places is not part of your SEO strategy, because if it is, it's not going to work too much longer.
Right.
And that's my algorithm.
Cool. Algo Cat is done. All right. So we've got a little bit of news. I know you've got a little bit of news. I just wanted to mention this. So Google Fi, so kind of Wi-Fi, Google Fi, it's combining the Sprint. So really Google's getting into the mobile network game, mobile cell phone game, and they're partnered with Sprint and T-Mobile, right? Same CDMA technology, and then a million free Wi-Fi hotspots. So they're going to push as much content as they can off onto Wi-Fi, which cell phones aren't inclined to do because they want you to use their cell phones. Like Sprint wants you to be on their network because if you use more data on their network, then they get to charge you more. And Google's more about getting out content. And I read a couple articles today about how one of the differentiators between like where Apple is, where Microsoft is, and where Google is Google is well down the path of being a carrier, right? Whereas Apple is still just it used to be the best device on AT&T or the best device overall, and it was only on AT&T, and that gave AT&T a huge boost.
For the iPhone 1 through 4, I think it was,
exactly.
or 3 or something.
So Google's ahead of the game, actually getting into the controlling that.
Which borderline scares me, only because you know what Google does with content. Yeah, exactly. It's a good scare.
Yeah.
Because you know what they do with information. They use it to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
And so now, ironically, my phone and most devices do this as well. Anytime there's an available Wi-Fi spot, it gets on that network, and therefore I'm not using my data plan, which kind of works, which also makes sense for Sprint to do that kind of deal.
Right.
Right? If people are jumping off of data and onto the next available Wi-Fi, any chance they get, why not partner with the company who's providing the Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. And then finally, I thought Google self-driving cars had 11 accidents over, I don't know, the last 3 years, 6 years, something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, they said they were all not their fault. And one of my concerns is, like, we all know the stereotypical little old lady who stops in the middle of the street for the kitten and gets rear-ended. It's not her fault, but it's entirely her fault, right? And so I'm wondering how that fits in there. And they're actually being a little tight-lipped about the details of the accidents and stuff. And so it'd be nice to see a little bit more transparency.
I think the thing is, you know, if you're in a car and it's being driven by Google, do not drive under any bridges, or anywhere where you might lose a signal because if your nav has to buffer, or you might just slow down, and you don't want to do that on I-10.
No, you do not want to slow down on I-10. You will get rear-ended, and despite whose fault it is, you can die. All right, so now you got a little bit of news.
Got a little news as well. Talking about Google and then driving, ironically. So remember, 2 weeks ago, we brought in our algo cat that now Google is allowing people to place orders for like restaurants and things like that from the Google search result page. Well, they've taken it a step further and actually signed partnerships with different delivery companies across the country. I think it looks like they're starting in some select cities right now.
Yeah. Not Houston.
Boo. Fourth largest city.
Yeah, come on. What's up with that? You got like some places that don't even matter.
Exactly.
Chicago.
And so what's interesting is now when you go to Google, you do a search for your favorite restaurant. If they're in that network, then you can order. Google will allow you to choose how you want it delivered. And then it'll redirect you to the website where you can finish your order. So I think the key here for all my listeners or viewers or watchers or who may be in the restaurant business,
right?
Google hasn't released what criteria they're looking for to make sure these restaurants fit the mold. But I can say that most likely is going to be content related. And so make sure that your site is updated, that it's mobile friendly, that you have your menu posted, that you have an option for people to order online, because if people can't order online, then it can't be delivered. So those type of things you're going to want to make sure you have. Schema markup is going to be important, so Google can easily identify your location. So start working on that. All my restaurant tours.
Restaurant tours. Restaurant tours.
Restaurant tours. Make sure you're working on that because it's coming. And let's see. My other news was in regards to YouTube and how-to videos. So think this. How-to searches on YouTube are up 70% from this time last year.
Wow.
100 million hours of how-to videos have been watched on YouTube.
So not uploaded, actually watched. Yeah.
In 2015. So we're talking January through May 15th.
Right.
So the first 5 months, 100 million hours of how-to videos. And Chris asked the question earlier, what would we have done without these how-to videos?
Prior to the how-to videos, we're like, okay, we break a lot of stuff. We hire a lot of handymen.
We did a whole bunch of trial and error.
Yeah. Oops, we're going to need a new toilet seat. Because we just
broke it.
Didn't know how to install it and broke it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my news.
That is not a removable clip apparently. All right, so we've got a little bit of reviews here. So you notice no tattoos. First one is from Facebook, and it is 5 stars. Although I get a bit lost on the tech talk, it's awesome exposure to the lingo and theory of SEO. The podcast is even more fascinating if you've never considered optimizing your online presence and until recently didn't even know you were supposed to. So Sean Mooney, punch in the face to you. And thank you for the 5-star review. And I'm glad you now know that you are supposed to
optimize your website.
I get, and you know, there's a lot of people. It's like, if you build it, they will come.
And that's not the case.
That is no longer the case. Next, this one is from Goldie Rutherford. It is also 5 stars. Wipe those tears off your face. Your podcast is exactly what I needed to start building my confidence and understanding of the crazy world of SEO. And they gave us a tip, Mr. Mrs. Goldie Rutherford.
Awesome.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, a couple of tips as well if you want to get into those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So this first tip goes to Brian Nani. Hit us up on Twitter. He's at Brian Nani. He says, I'm at eWebStyle. I'm a new listener today. Y'all are goofy and funny, but educational. Hashtag I dig it. I'll definitely continue to tune in. Hashtag SEO podcast. Dude, Punch in the face to you. We are. I'm funny. He's goofy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
and
cool
together we're educational.
So get this. This is educational right now. Funny plus goofy equals educational.
Only when you're dealing with a hashtag SEO podcast.
Don't try that.
Don't try that anywhere else. And the last punch in the face goes to man Aaron Ralph Thomas over at Your World Video Production, a long-time podcast listener. We appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah.
He hit us up, said he's listening and learning the hashtag SEO podcast 274. So he was a few weeks back. At Best SEO Podcast, at US Solid, at Chuck. He's actually may come visit us live in a couple of weeks, punch in the face to Brian Horn and the mastermind group they have going on. And so we're going to see if we can work some out with those guys.
Excellent. All right, so that is the potatoes of the podcast. Let's get directly into the meat. Awesome. I think it's Thai chicken today.
Thai chicken?
The meat is Thai chicken today.
Awesome. Haven't had Thai chicken in a while.
Here we go.
So punch in the face to Michael Giorgio over at Search Engine Journal posted this article, 7 things content creators do to create share-worthy content. And I can really appreciate this article because I just posted a post yesterday.
Yeah.
A post, open letter to the NBA, and it's a long, lengthy post, and I've done tons of research and tons of articles.
Good
graphics, everything. It took me 6 weeks to make this post. And so when I came across this article, he actually discussed some of the processes that I went through. And so let's dive right in. I like how he starts it. He says, coming up with share-worthy content is difficult. The problem is everyone else is doing it. And he's absolutely right, especially in various industries. Everyone has competitors. Everyone has people who are doing the same thing you're doing, trying to get the same clients you're trying to get the same social media views you're trying to get. And so the competition is who's creating the best content. And so he came up with these tips to help people create better content. Number one, he says ideation, right? And this is an important step. A lot of people skip. He goes on to say, you can't pluck content ideas out of thin air. You need to set aside some time for some ideation. Your content marketing team needs to brainstorm ideas for your next content piece. And he's absolutely right, right? Don't just sit down and say, I'm going to start writing and then start writing.
And I'll be done in 1 hour.
Yeah, you probably will
how long
be.
does that do to write
6
that?
weeks.
6 weeks.
And you probably will be done in 1 hour, and it won't be viral, it won't be shared, it won't have any value, and frankly, it'll probably be thin content and get you a panda penalty. And so don't do that.
Panda black eye.
Exactly. You wanna. What I added here was consider your products and services first, right? During this ideation process, consider what you offer, what you sell, the service you provide, and what kind of content can you create around that. Because at the end of the day, you're still in business to sell your product or provide your service. Second thing you may want to do in ideation is review your recent client issues. Right. So maybe you provide a service or a product and you've had some interactions with clients. Take those interactions and figure out what type of content you can create and publish and share with your existing client base and others. So that way you won't have those issues anymore. And finally, maybe there's some current events or things like that that's going on that are relevant to your industry. Like maybe you're a plumber and everybody knows that the super huge water heaters, they're phasing those out, right? Because they're too big to fit through most attics. And so if you're a plumber and you have a whole bunch of those in stock, then you should write an article that talks about that and why they're doing it and close it with why they need to buy the rest of them from you because you still have them.
Right.
That sort of deal. And so figure out what's going on in your business, excuse me, and use that during your ideation process when you're coming up with ideas to write about.
I'm going to add a pro tip for ideation. Make sure that you're ideating all the time, right? So take some notes, keep a notebook with you. If you're responsible for the content for your company or multiple companies, keep a notebook. And so you may come up with an idea that goes under something you've already come up with an idea. So it's water heater, and then you're like, oh, it won't fit through the attic, right? And then the next is save energy, right?
Yeah,
so that comes to you the next day.
You have a punch in the face to Kelsey Ruger, old boss of mine, still a good friend of mine. And one day we were at a previous company, we were exchanging Christmas gifts. He gave me a box with a small little box, and it had index cards and Sharpies.
Right.
And so what he says is anytime, Chuck, you get an idea, write it on the card, put the card in the box.
Right.
Right. And then anytime you get another idea, write it down the card, put it in the box.
Yeah.
Anytime you get an idea that's
related.
Pulled out that card, added.
Yeah.
He says after 6 months, go to your cards, and if you got a card in there that's written front and back, got all kind of ideas and stuff on there, you might want to pull that out the box and begin to look into what you can do.
An article or
exactly,
or rap
or new rap or new product or a new service or whatever.
Yep.
You know, and so ideation is key.
Yeah,
write it
ongoing.
down. The key is writing it down.
Yep.
And getting it out your head. Definitely.
Yeah, maybe, and often, you know, how many times have you been about to go to sleep and you have like 18 ideas? Man, I've put together so many great inspirational speeches while I'm about to go to sleep, and I've given them.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, I got, I don't even know.
Got nothing.
Should have written something down.
Exactly. I should have reached over to my phone and recorded myself.
Yeah.
Or did something. That's what I do because I drive. I don't commute from work to home, and I find myself turning my audio recorder on and freestyling.
Yeah.
Because I come up with ideas for raps and driving.
That's awesome.
Ironically. Number two, after ideation, he says focus on titles. Right. So now you've created your idea. You know what you're going to go to. Focus on titles. And he's right here. He says your titles need to be irresistible and viral. This is important because your content will compete with lots of other content, and a great title will help ensure your target audience clicks on the link. He's absolutely right. That title is extremely important. If people don't see your title, they don't recognize the title, don't worry about it. If they don't, make them want to click on it, then they're not going to click on it. Right there. So I'll add this to it. Not only focus on the title, but develop several titles. Bounce them around your audience. Bounce them around different people in your office. See what type of engagement, what type of emotional attraction these titles create. Does it make somebody want to say, "Ooh, what is this?" Or does it deter somebody like, "No, I'm not really interested"? Figure out what those titles are. Keep your keywords in mind when coming up with those titles, because at the end of the day, that title is likely going to be an H1. It's going to be what shows in the Google search result page. And it's necessary to have a great title. A good, great title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you.
It's better than a great title.
It's a good, great title.
Yeah.
And so titles are important.
As opposed to a bad, great title.
Bad, great title might be good.
It's still good. It's actually good. So.
Yeah, well, he said.
We got to take it up a notch. That's all we're saying.
Keep your keywords in mind and keep your areas in mind too. So a lot of information goes in the title. Keep the title length in mind. As great as you want it to be, understand that Google is going to truncate it once you get past about 55 characters. And so keep that in mind. Focus on titles is number two. Number three, he says, research. If your content doesn't come across as well researched, it loses all credibility in the mind of your readers. And he's absolutely right. Like, at the end of the day, we all read content and we know when it's some BS and we know when it's probably
we know thin content.
Exactly. Like, okay, you forced this, you was bored, you had nothing to do, and so you posted this. Right?
And you didn't do any research.
And you didn't do any research. Or worst case scenario, you post something that I actually know about.
Yeah.
and
you wrote some bullshit.
And you wrote some BS. Then now I'm blasting you because you posted this erroneous BS content. And so instead, do your research. So what I added to this was you should be able to prove what you're saying, and not only prove what you're saying, but then display the proof. How do you display the proof? Outbound links, credibility sources. So maybe you pulled an image from somewhere, link to where you got that image from. Give them a shout out. Hey, this image came from such and such publication on this date with the link. And so that way, when people read these stats and different numbers and things like that, you've actually provided a source to back up your argument. And the only reason you wouldn't want to do that in some cases would be is if you're already the authority. And so people just kind of believe what you're saying and you have a track record of always providing quality content.
Right.
Then you become that authority and people begin linking to you. And so, but if you're not that authority yet, and even when you are, because even authoritative sites, they still link out to their research and to their resources.
And should. And research is so important. This is a great example. We're just about to launch a website, which is Pediatric After Hours, Almost an Emergency. Basically, it's a book that a pediatric doctor wrote, and we're responsible for turning it into an app.
Mm-hmm.
We submitted it, went straight through Google. That's just how their process is. And Apple came back and said, "Where did this medical information come from?" Which is interesting because the submitter is a doctor, and it should be pretty clear if you did it, but we still had to write, it came from a doctor who's been a board certified pediatrician for 40 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, research and then documenting where that research came from.
Yeah, outbound links, image credits, and even social commentary, right? Because a lot of times we'll do research based off of what we've heard news broadcasters or people, bigger names or bigger brands have said. And so include that in your research, include that in your content, so people can see. From a user perspective, it builds that credibility. From an SEO perspective, these are outbound links, relevant outbound links that support your content. And so it's a win-win when you do the proper research. Number four, he says, take the time. Take the time. He says, a great piece of content needs a lot of effort and time. Share-worthy content isn't fast food. You must offer your target audience a fine dining experience, and it'll take time to cook up a meal your audience will enjoy. Dude, I love that.
You probably need a couple sous chefs also.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, you need some appetizers, people want to enjoy the content.
Yeah.
And I think comparing it to a fine dining experience is exactly right. Because with fast food, it served the purpose. I was really, really hungry at the time, but I regretted it. My belly's full, but I regretted it. Yeah. It cost too much. It was extremely greasy, and it really wasn't that tasty. It just satisfied the purpose.
And as full as my stomach is, it's now upset.
Exactly. And I'll be hungry really short.
Yeah.
And so, but meanwhile, fine dining experience, you had a chance to sit, you had a chance to talk, you ate an appetizer, you had a great meal, you maybe had a dessert, you followed up with a cup of coffee, great conversation, that sort of deal. And your content should be the same way. People should read your content, share your content, reread your content. Oh, hashtag that, I like that. Call somebody else, hey, did you see this? They should, frankly, rip your content off. They should copy it and try to repurpose it and use it for theirs because it's that good.
They should talk about your content while they're having a fine dining experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And so your content should do that. And I'll add this to it as you work on this content. Give it some structure, right? Just like any other piece of content, it needs an opening, it needs a body, it needs a closing. Keep your CTAs involved. Keep your target demographic involved, and so that way, when you're taking the time to create this content and post it, it has some structure that people can follow, that people are used to following, and that way they'll be more inclined to share it. Number five. He says, get feedback. Right? He says, once your first draft is ready, pass it around. Ask different people from the marketing team to take a look at it. And I agree. Right? Anytime you're going to post it, let people review it. Especially people in your office in different positions, right? Let the marketing person look at it, let the sales person look at it.
Different perspectives.
Exactly. Yeah. Let the customer service person look at it, let the receptionist look at it, let the boss look at it.
Let your best customer look at it.
Exactly, because they'll give you honest feedback. And that way you'll get results. Like with the article I posted.
Yeah.
I posted it, right? I shared it with you. You pointed out a quick error,
In this long article, like one thing.
but it was more than that. So with that, I posted it.
Oh yeah.
And so I got reports from 3 of my closest friends that, hey, you need to change this or change this or change that.
Tweak that,
so I was able to make those tweaks. And that feedback loop is important when you're posting content. And so do that, get that feedback. And when you're getting feedback, I added get specific feedback.
Yeah.
Right. If you want this to work, if you want it to have some girth to it, then get specific feedback. For example, on the type of images, right? Or the tone of voice this content is using, or maybe the length of this video or this post or this infographic. Is this infographic too complex or is it too simple? Right? Get specific feedback based on the type of content you're producing, and so that way you can make the proper adjustments. Number six, he says, strive for excellence. Right? Mundane content doesn't get shared. So your job is to create high quality content that is absolutely unique. He's right. How many articles have you read that you felt were frustrated because you wasted your time?
Yeah.
I've read through plenty of articles like, okay, why did I read that? I will never get this 90 seconds back in my life.
Yeah.
And this article they didn't do the right research. It was erroneous and blah, blah, blah.
The only thing I appreciate is they actually had subheadings so I can recognize that I did not want to read it.
Exactly. And so what I added to this is pretty simple. At the end of the day, if you wouldn't share it, don't post it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If you know you would read it and you wouldn't share it, then don't post it.
Yeah.
Go back, re-edit it, redo it, keep adding, improve it to the point where you would be glad to share it. Then post it. And of course, after you got some feedback from your team and tested and did all of those other things. Number 7, and this is the last one. He says, take steps to improve the visibility. Your target readers aren't just going to stumble across your content. You need to take the steps to ensure your content reaches your audience. And he's absolutely right. You got to promote it, right? After you spent all this time creating this article or this piece of content, whatever it is, after you tested it, after you've gotten feedback and now you've done these things, now you need to make sure people can find it. You need to share it. You need to make sure it's optimized. You need to make sure that when people are looking for something remotely similar to it, that they have a chance of finding it. You have to promote it. And so one of the things I added was reach out to specific people. Like what I did with my post, I got a circle of friends who love the NBA just as much as I do. And so I immediately went to them first.
Yep.
Dude, check this article out. And I got a lot of feedback from those guys. And so do that. And then what did they do? They turned around and shared it with their network of people who they watched games with.
Right.
And I'm hoping that that process continues. And so take some steps to improve the visibility, even if, I think the pro tip is, even if it's a manual process.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's okay to copy and paste this link to 20 different tweets to 20 different people if you got to do that.
Yeah. And in fact, the one-to-one contact is where you see the most results.
Exactly.
That's what we see, for our lunch and learn.
Mm-hmm.
You put out a broad swath like, oh, there's an event on Facebook, great. But when I reach out to individual people, say, hey, are you going to come to this? It's a totally different story.
Yeah, it's a more personal approach. It's an invite. I'm looking for your opinion. And when you share that people that you actually care about what they have to say about what you're producing, then they'll likely respond accordingly. In his conclusion, he says, truly successful content creators take great pride in their work and feel an innate sense of responsibility towards their readers. And he's absolutely right, man. Be proud of your work. If you want to take the time to write it, take the time to produce it and publish it, be proud of it. Put it out there. That's my child.
Yeah.
Right? You asked me about my daughter. She plays AAU basketball right now.
He'll talk for 25 minutes.
Man, look, I'll pull out my phone and show you free throw videos, dribbling videos, passing videos, highlight steals.
Progress. This is when she first was taking free throws. Look at her now.
Exactly. Here's what we're about to work on. Like, I'll be proud of this content. And so you should do the same with yours. Brag on it. Don't hide it. And so, 7 things content creators do to create share-worthy content. Dude, punch in the face to you, Michael Giorgio. I feel like I'm screwing that up.
Giorgio. We'll go with you, Giorgio. Yeah.
So punch in the face to you, dude. Great article. We'll share this on Facebook and put it on our blog.
Cool. I think we got a little bit of what, right?
Yeah, we got some what. What? Yeah, so this what news goes to Yahoo Mail. Now, ironically, I haven't logged in since football season ended.
Right.
And I'll log back in when fantasy football starts over again. But so a colleague of ours logged into Yahoo Mail, looked up, and Yahoo Mail on the right sidebar are displaying Google ads.
Was it retargeting ads?
Well, it was Google ads, and since it was a remarketing campaign, we saw some of our clients
in his Yahoo Mail. With the Google ads. I thought Yahoo had a relationship with Bing.
Exactly. Okay. And so this is why Yahoo gets this what. Because we're baffled as to why Yahoo would have a partnership with Bing but be displaying Google ads.
Yeah.
My guess is search volume.
Yeah. There's not as many people putting up ads for display through the Bing process.
Or why does Yahoo feel it necessary to be trying to get AdSense dollars? Right? Because if somebody does click that ad, Yahoo will get a cut.
Yeah.
That's how AdSense works. That's how Display Network works. But really, Yahoo? Google ads? Interesting.
It's an interesting decision. All right, that is our podcast. So if you're interested in growing your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
call eWebStyle for increased revenue in your business. Our phone number is 713-592-6724. If you have a client who's interested in using the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
then and you don't want to take care of them, send them to us. We'll do SEO for them. When they pay us, we pay you. A reminder, 7:30 Central Standard Time on Mondays is the Creative Biz Ideas show, radio show. It's on Blog Talk Radio. I'm the co-host. I'm there with Nolan. He's a video, awesome video guy here in Houston. So we've kind of partnered on that podcast. It's his podcast / radio show. It's his baby, and he invited me to join. I was like, yeah, I want to be working with you. Remember, we were filmed live at 5999 West 34th Street, Suite 106 in Houston, Texas. You guys have made us the most popular internet marketing podcast in the known universe everywhere. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for all the feedback. Keep the feedback coming. Keep the reviews coming, even though I didn't give you directions today. You know the page, edeswebstyle.com/eweb G+.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just throw one out there.
I was saying that, like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, if you get out of sync, and then you're out of sync. That's just what it is. Thank you guys again. Until the next podcast, my name's Chris Burris.
So, Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.
All right.